The no's were for your own good. Oh my gosh, they didn't want me to have fun. Girl, if I could go back and slap myself, fully embrace my singleness, do what makes you happy. I'm talking like I'm not 25. This past weekend was prom from my old high school, and it just brought back so many memories that I began to think, what would I go back to tell myself if I could? 17 to 21-year-old Kim, what are the things that I would go back and talk to her about? What would I warn her about? What would I advise her to do? So that's what we're doing in this video. I am going to be telling y'all things that I would go back and tell myself if I had the chance to do that. The first thing that I would go back and tell myself is that the no's were for your own good. In high school, I heard a lot of no's from my parents, from guys that I crushed on. Like, I just heard no. Looking back at it, it was for my own good. The no's really saved me. The guys that I was crushing on, you know, the popular guys. You look at them now, what are they doing? And that's no shade to nobody, but that's the honest truth. And then the no's led me to my husband. But the no's from my parents, they really, I used to think that, oh my gosh, they didn't want me to have fun. They just wanted to be Debbie Downers. They just wanted me to be in the house and not have fun like all of my other friends. But really, they were saving me. Listening and looking at everything that's happening today in this world, my parents saved me. And if your parents were anything like my parents, our parents saved us. No way would we still be here if we were able to go out and do what we truly wanted to do when we were younger. The next thing that I would tell myself is to not rush, just take your time. If you were anything like me, you used to say that you couldn't wait to be an adult. You couldn't wait to be on your own. You couldn't wait to just have your own money. Girl, if I could go back and slap myself, if I could go back, I would talk some sense into myself. Girl, stay in that house as long as you can. Don't spend that unnecessary money. Girl, be smart, invest, all of that. And to think about telling myself to invest at 19 years old, 20 years old, it sounds crazy, but it's the truth, because I had people telling me to do that. But if I would have followed that advice, I would be much further than where I am now. I remind myself that I have plenty of time to do everything that I want to do, that I wouldn't have to rush in this certain time period thinking that I'm gonna run out of time. No, you're not. Just enjoy being a young person, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old. Live carelessly, live free. The next thing I would tell myself is to embrace my singleness. Now catch it. I've always said that me and Kobe, we've been together for 8 years, but that doesn't mean that we've been together the full 8 years. We had breaks off and on, you know, young couples, you trying to find yourself. But during the breaks, like, I wasn't really focusing on myself. I was focusing on him, to be honest. I didn't take that time to fully embrace my singleness, embrace being alone, and just to find out what I like, just figure me out in a sense. I wasn't doing that. So I would go back and tell myself to embrace that time alone. Figure out what you like to do. Figure out the true Cameron. I would emphasize to her the true importance of being happy. What really makes you happy? Like, I would ask her these questions. What really makes you happy? What are your hobbies? I would also advise my past self, my younger self, to not be a yes woman and just to put herself first. My whole life, I feel like I've been a yes woman, especially since my mom passed. I have been a yes woman to my siblings, for sure. There have been rare instances where I've told them no. I would go back and I would tell 20-year-old Cam, 22-year-old Cam to do what makes you happy. You have to pour more into yourself before you pour into anybody else. You cannot pour from an empty cup. I would just advise 22-year-old Cam to just focus on her healing journey before trying to be there for others. I would also tell my younger self to stop spending unnecessary money. Oh my gosh. From fast fashion to cars. I don't know what I was thinking in my younger years. I'm talking like I'm not 25. I'm still young, but in my late teens, early 20s, y'all, I wish I could go back and just hit myself. I went from a paid off 2019 Honda Civic to a 2021 Honda Accord. And yes, I love my Honda Accord, but why did I want to get a new car when the car that I had was already paid off? I wasn't thinking. If I was thinking, I would have stayed with that Honda Civic and I would have saved $300 a month. And then when it comes to the clothes, fashion comes and goes. Like, why would you keep buying fast fashion? The trends, they come and go, but you're stuck with the clothes. So I would tell myself to just invest in higher quality pieces that will last longer than these fast fashion pieces. I would also advise myself to take my health more seriously in those younger years. I'm not saying anything is wrong with me now, but if I would have started back then, it would be much more easier now. It has always been a fact that the earlier you start, the easier it will become, and then I'd have more results than what I have now. I see myself slimming down a little bit here and there, but if I would have been serious back then, girl, you wouldn't have been able to tell me nothing now. But I guess that's the reason, because God knows I'd be full of myself. I'd be having a bigger head than what I already have. And then the last and final thing that I would advise myself to do is to develop a authentic, keyword, an authentic relationship with God. I've always been a believer of God. I grew up in the church. I was raised in a Christian household, but growing up, you believed in God based on other people's faith, other people's testimonies. It wasn't until I sought after God for myself that I realized who God is, what he does, what he provides for his children, and just the benefit of walking with him, that I realized that life is so much better with him. The things that I used to do in my late teens, early 20s is not even worth it. It wasn't even worth it. It wasn't worth getting drunk and passing out. It wasn't worth making a fool of yourself in public just because everybody is drinking. I truly advise the younger me to get into the Bible, get into your word, so you can truly know who God is, what he has for you. If you continue to seek after him, love him, and just develop a relationship with him, he would never steer you wrong. I have so much that I would tell myself, so much, but those are just 7 things that I would sit down and tell myself if I had the option to go back and just talk life into my younger self. And again, I didn't have a bad life. I wasn't a bad child. I hit my head a couple of times in my younger years, but it all shaped me to who I am today. You know I could never go back and tell myself these things, but again, this weekend just brought back so many memories that I just sat down and I thought, what would I go back and tell myself if I had the option to? So yeah, that's it. If you're in your late teens, early 20s, and you've watched this whole entire video, I thank you. I hope you took note of some things that I would go back and tell myself. And if you're struggling with some of those same things, just take it from me, girl. Try to correct yourself. Don't follow the trends. Don't follow the norm. The most important thing that I would tell myself would be to develop a relationship with God. So that is what I'm going to tell you today. Develop that relationship with God. Dive deeper into the word, girl. Because when everybody is gone, people are dying off. People are switching up every day. When those day one A1s are gone, all you have is God. That would be the most important advice that I would give to myself and to you guys. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.